आग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिकान्ता राधाकान्त नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नाम्ने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we'll begin with a very nice topic today. But before we begin, it's been 2 weeks. So just to set uh, the mood, let's do a very quick recap of what we discussed. The last topic was who is God, and we discussed different aspects of God. Uh, One of the aspect was that God that is everywhere, like sunlight is everywhere, which is called the Brahman aspect of God. Then we discussed Paramatma aspect and the Bhagavan aspect, and then we discussed definition of God with two perspectives. One is that he is the supreme proprietor, controller, enjoyer, and source of everything. And then another definition was that one who possesses six opulences. And then we discussed that he is like individual, and the highest understanding of Lord is that he is the supreme person. So he has a personality. Uh, and then we discussed he is the sweetest, and we discussed the entire Godhead system, like uh, whether our Sanatan Dharma advocates monotheism, polytheism versus uh, multi-level polynomial bi-monotheistic something, some definition, right? So we discussed the difference between devatas and Bhagavan and various tattvas, and a little bit about the Trinity also, uh, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, and at a very high level, the cosmic division, like about the universe, and above the universe, the spiritual world, and all. We discussed a little bit about all of that. I hope that topic was not very intense and clear. There were some new learnings that we didn't know from before. So today's topic is, why do bad things happen to good people? We'll try to answer this question, and this will bring us to another concept called karma. And this question, why do bad things happen to good people? Because we see around that there are many good people, but sometimes we see that they are going through a bad time, and most of the time it is ourselves. We are good people. Why is bad happening to me? And the other aspect of this question is, why do good things happen to bad people? That is mostly, when we talk about other people, that they are having good time, but they are not as good as me. Uh, so we'll try to answer this question. Is it uh, by chance? Is it predestined? Is it based on our uh, what we have done in the past? That is the kind of uh, and how to get free from it. That's the ultimate goal, right? Like uh, people in India, in not even in India now, this the definition karma itself has a place in the English dictionary also. People use this very casually also nowadays. Even English people, you'll see that they know this term karma. If something bad is happening to them, they immediately say, "Oh, it's the karma coming back." For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction, right? So Newton also gave this law of force. So which in modern days now they are translating to karma, but it has much more deeper understandings. So does everything happen by chance in this world? Some people are so rich, some are poor, some are strong and healthy, some are physically challenged, some are born blind. Why are all these differences? So one of the worldview is that the modern scientific worldview, everything happens by chance, uh, doesn't hold, uh, it doesn't answer this question like they'll say it's by chance and it's, whatever it is, just live it because everything is happening by chance. So there is no one to be blamed, there is no one to be rewarded or recognized. But still we see differences, and this is a natural question that comes to our mind. Okay, why is somebody suffering a lot, or why is somebody uh, enjoying a lot, or why is somebody having more success, although we started at the same level. But this person, I worked hard, he worked hard, but he grew more than me. Why is that? So if everything is controlled, in the previous session we discussed that God is the supreme controller. So if he is the supreme controller and we see these differences, is God being partial? Why are innocent people getting killed? What did they do anything wrong? Why is God so unkind? Why is God so cruel? Uh, so there is a one author who had written this book, Harold, Mr. Harold. When bad things happen to good people, some book he has written, and in that book he has, I think, concluded that either God is not all powerful or he is not all merciful. Both cannot be true at the same time. Because if God is all powerful, he should be able to do anything and everything. And if he is able to do anything and everything, why are people suffering? Because then he must not be very kind, because that is why he is giving sufferings. Or the other hand is that okay, he is kind, but he's not the supreme controller. He cannot make lives better for the people who are suffering. So either of that conclusion, that is because of poor fund of knowledge. These things will be concluded. Now, uh, when a judge makes a judgment, right? Sometimes he rewards somebody that okay, he should get this compensation, and sometimes he penalize somebody that oh, he has to pay these fines and all. So is the judge being partial? No, right? So Vedas declare that God is all powerful, all knowing, all loving. Then why are people suffering? Uh, some people also have this argument that, there is no God, because if God was there and he was all powerful, that's what we hear about God, then why is there is so much suffering? So this question was asked to one of the philosopher, and he said that, do you know any people who have, long and dirty hairs and have beard? He said yes. So by looking at those people who have beard and long hair, can you conclude that there are no barbers? No, right? It's because the people who have long beard are not going to the barber to get it cleaned up. So similarly, people who are suffering, one possibility is that they are not turning towards God, and that's why they are suffering. So, in order to understand this topic of karma, there are like these are the five topics of Bhagavad Gita that we have discussed many times before also. Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kal, and Karma. And in the previous discussions, we have touched upon these two topics in detail: the Jiva, living entity, and Ishvara, the soul and super soul, Atma and Paramatma. We have talked about it in uh, great detail. Now, in order to understand karma, we'll also briefly touch base upon these other two topics called Prakriti and Kala, and then we'll come to karma, because this all has to be connected to define what is karma. So, any idea of what do we mean by Prakriti? There is one aspect of Prakriti then that we all
E-
generally we have a notion, but
ecosystem.
yeah, ecosystem, the material nature, right? But there is one aspect which is not very well known, or at least people don't may not categorize it as under the material nature Prakriti. That will also discuss that also. So ecosystem is Prakriti, yes, the material nature.
We also say Prabhu sometimes like our nature also is Prakriti, like Prakritik group say we are
Yeah,
like this, right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Our nature. Uh, Also, there is one, another definition. When we say Prakriti, we it is in reference to God, like when we compare, not compare actually, but there are two things that exist. One is called Purusha and Prakriti. Purush meaning Lord Himself, and one of the meaning of Purush is the controller. And Prakriti also means one which is controlled by the Purusha. So Purusha is the Lord and Prakriti is so the controller and the control. That is also another way of looking at it. So we'll try to discuss a little bit more about Prakriti. So there are two Shaktis or energies of the Lord. One is called matter and another is called spirit. The Adhyatmic Shakti and the Bhautik Shakti, and it is also we can say that this is Lord's superior Shakti and this is inferior Shakti. Both are Lord's Shaktis, energies. And their characteristics we have discussed previously also when we discussed Atma, the spirit. We discussed the differences between living and non-living. So those are the differences of both of these are Lord's energies, Lord's Shaktis. So matter is asat, temporary, and spirit is eternal. Matter is achit and spirit is chit, so full of consciousness, versus dead and do not have any awareness. The spiritual Shakti is always full of bliss, आनंदमय होती है, और material or matter is niranand. Examples is our body and the world we live in. There are these two examples are given, and uh, the examples of spiritual Shakti or the spirit is our own selves, the spirit soul, and God, the super self. Similarly, places, any place can be categorized into these two Shaktis. Either it will be material world or there will be spiritual world. So the material world it will have all these characteristics. It will be temporary, it will be Achit, it will be Niranand, and the spiritual world is Satchidanand. So anything that we see around will we can categorize in these two broad categories, and will they will hold these characteristics. So if we talk about the entirety of creation, although the spiritual world we cannot even call creation because creation is something that is created, whereas spiritual world is always there. So, but still, uh, we don't have a better word, so let's call it creation. So, in that sense, the entirety of the material creation is is one fourth of the entire thing that exists, which consists of millions of universes. So we discussed a little bit about this previously also. Uh, and so it's called Ekapada Vibhuti, and the spiritual world is called Tripada Vibhuti. So that's why we say it one fourth. Uh, Now, material nature or material world is described by the Lord in Bhagavad Gita as Dukhalayam Ashashvatam. So Ashashvatam is the one of the characteristics that I mean, these both are the characteristics that we discussed in the previous slide, that it is the material energy is temporary. It's not Shashvat. And also it is a place of misery, not Niranand that we said, right? So the material nature or the material world is defined to be Dukhalayam Ashashvatam. And the spiritual world, one of the other name of spiritual world is Vaikuntha. Vai meaning no, Kuntha meaning misery, where there is no misery. A world where there is no misery is called spiritual world or Vaikuntha. So now, what do we, uh, when we go to a library, what is it called? Pustakalay. What do we expect in a Pustakalay? What do we find there? Pustak, right? What do we find in a Bhojanalay? Bhojan, right? That is what we expect. So, if material world is Dukhalay, what should we expect in a Dukhalay? Obviously, Dukh, right? So, if we are trying to find Sukh in a Dukhalay, we are at a wrong place. We are trying to find that Ananda in a wrong place. Now, why would somebody even create if Lord is the supreme controller and source of everything? If he is the supreme proprietor owner, why would he create a Dukhalay? The analogy that is given is of a jail. So whenever if we have to plan a city, new city, there will be a provision of a prison house. You know, and why would the government create a prison house? It's a costly affair. You have to spend a lot of money. You have to allocate budget. The entire home ministry is for this, right? Like well-being of the society, and also one part of that is maintaining the jails. Uh, so but you still have to allocate because we know that there will be people who will not follow the law or will not abide uh, to the regular uh, natural behavior and will cause disturbance if they are kept with other people, right? So in order to uh, keep the society peaceful and free from disturbances, people who create disturbances are sent to this place, that okay, you are a disturbance there. So when uh, a jail is has to be provisioned in a city, there will be a prison house, there will be a prison cell, and there will be means by which people can stay there. It'll be chains, ropes, or some kind of confinement, right? So why is jail created? It is a cost, although being a costly affair, because there will be miscreants. There is never a time, somebody may say that, okay, if God instructs everybody, so God tried to instruct Duryodhan also. Even if when he was in front of him, he did not understand the message. So instead of killing them down, you give them a chance to rectify. So jail is not a the purpose of jail is not that you just punish them. The underlying reason is that you want to rectify, teach them a lesson so that they can become a good citizen and can be brought back to the uh, outside the jail in the society, and they are not disturbance anymore, right? So it is more like a reformatory place, not like a cruel place. Although one of the means of that reformation might be sometimes cruelty might be required in certain extent, but the purpose is to restore him, to rectify him. And there's one verse in the seventh chapter. Ichha dvesha samuthena dvandva mohena bharata sarvabhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. O scion of Bharata, Bharat, that is Arjuna, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by the dualities arising from desire and hate. So as soon as a person is sent to this material world, he is affected by this dualities, Ichha and Dvesha. He will have desires, and through because of those desires he will also have cultivated this mood of dvesha. He'll have some kind of envy because his ichha is not being fulfilled. So that is the delusion that he's put in. uh, we come here because of our ichha and hatred and ichha and dvesha. So these are the two things doing. What is that ichha which brings us here? To become like God. So in the material world, when somebody do not obey the laws of the state, he is sent to the jail, and those laws could be, penal code, that you should not be killing somebody, you should not be stealing, you should not be cheating, or so. What brings a jiva to this material world is desire and hatred. And desire is not bad, but the desire to become God himself, or to become to have a controllership mentality, or to have the doership mentality. So that desire brings us here, and that also culminates in dvesha, some kind of hatred or envy or uh, jealousy towards the Lord. Like, why is the Lord so respected and why not me? That kind of a feeling. Uh, and what is the result? That you become a disturbance in the spiritual world and is sent to the material world. And in the material world, if we have some ichha, okay, whether uh, a person, an atma, a jivatma uh, wants to fulfill their desires, they have to be put in some kind of an illusion. Uh, Only then he can, uh, and the illusion is that he should not be knowing about God in order to fulfill his material desires. Because if he knows about God, then he'll know that his what is the transcendental position of God, what is his transcendental position, and then any of his ulterior desire cannot be fulfilled. So even to fulfill any ulterior desire, he needs this kind of an illusion to be put in, which is called Maya. In other words, we also call it Maya. So we are put into this illusion, moha or Maya. Without that, we cannot enjoy separate from God. And what happens once we are put into this illusion? Then we are subject to dualities or dvanda of the material world. So something is good, something is bad, happiness, distress, heat, cold. We feel all of them, honor, dishonor, everything manifests. So all the dualities, all the confusion, what should I do, what should I not do, they all exist in the material world because we are in illusion, and we are in illusion because we are in the material world. We are in the material world because of ichha and dvesha. Uh, in the material world, the Lord provides facilities to satisfy our perverted desires, to enjoy separately from the Lord, our own personal agenda to become enjoyer, controller, proprietor. Okay. Then there is this competition arises that if you want to be the controller, if the other person also wants to be a controller, there can be only one. So there is this competition, the race. We enter into that race, uh, and then it's all manifest one after the other, right? So there will be when you are in a competition, there will be conflicts. Okay, there are limited resources that are given to us, and uh, the competition of hoarding those limited resources, uh, and all these even these socialism or capitalism it's about distribution of those resources eventually, if we see. So in order to manage that conflict and distribute the resources evenly, people come out with these different philosophies, so that they can make a peaceful environment in the material world. But if we see, the root cause is not still addressed, right? The root cause of this is that everyone to become controllers. So now the people who uh, bring up these philosophies of socialism, capitalism, they want to be controllers, so they come up with these philosophies and try to control the people by saying that, okay, give me the control and I will distribute the resources properly. That is their way of resolving conflicts, hatred and all. uh, Now, what we can learn from the miseries that we experience in this material world, since we are hankering for that ananda, right? Because that is the inherent nature of a spirit soul, Satchit Ananda. But we are not happy. We are at every stage we are encountering these sufferings and miseries. That's a constant reminder that okay, this is not the place. This place is not the right place where I should belong. And let's not uh, invest too much into this place to make it your home. See, uh, and that's the indication where people turn towards the Lord. So ऐसा बोलते हैं ना, एक कहावत भी है कि uh, दुख में सुमिरन सब करें, सुख में करे ना कोई, right? So if we think deeply, they are kind of reminders that this is not the right place for us to be in, because the inherent nature, we are spirit soul and this is matter, so they don't go together. The inherent nature, our inherent nature is that we are sat, we are eternal, and because we are eternal, we try to find eternality in the material world. But material world, everything is temporary. Today you have some money, wealth, opulence, tomorrow it will go. you know Today you have good health, tomorrow it will go. Everything is temporary in this material world, but because of our inherent nature of eternity, we try to seek that eternality in the material world. So that's a clear indication that okay, we don't belong here, this is not my permanent home. And once an individual jiva or atma comes to this realization, then he tries to look for that place where he came from, and the Vedas can show the path. And that spiritual place, that place there where we belong, it is free of envy, free of conflict. Everyone lives in a selfless, endless, blissful love. uh, and they have a common goal, common purpose, which is to offer loving service to the Lord. uh, Now this training can still be given here, because the manual is given, all the manuals, all the instructions are given, how you can practice, how you can be a good citizen in the spiritual world. That all the manuals are there, and you can cultivate that loving spirit to the Lord. Once you are properly positioned, then you are become eligible to go back to the spiritual world. Any questions so far? Any comments? Is everything clear? Sometimes it becomes hard to accept this truth that okay, uh, we are in a place of misery. You know, all our efforts, if we see all the scientific research and all, what is their focus? To make this world a beautiful place where we can live happily. But by definition, it is matter. It is temporary, right? It's Achit Niranand. So whatever endeavor you can do, you'll not be able to uh, make it a spiritual place. So it's like all the efforts that are done by the so-called scientists to make it a happy world. अगर कोई जैसे कोई दलदल में फंसा है, ठीक है, and he's struggling there. Now the solution is to get out of that दलदल. The solution is not कि अच्छा उस दलदल के अंदर कैसे अच्छे से रह सकते हैं. ठीक है, ओके, ओ यू आर, तुम दलदल के अंदर हो या किसी ऐसी जगह पे हो जहाँ पे तुम्हें बहुत उसमें बहुत कीड़े मकोड़े हैं, उस जगह पे वो आपको काट रहे हैं, तो तुम ऐसी ड्रेस पहन लो कि कीड़े मकोड़े नहीं काट पाए. नो, दैट इज नॉट द सोल्यूशन. दैट इज अ टेम्परेरी सोल्यूशन दैट मे बी रिक्वायर्ड to give you, to buy you some time so that you can come out of it, but the eventual goal is to come out of it. Is that making sense? So uh, taking that analogy one step ahead, if this material world is like a prison cell, so the material world is a prison house, and the material body that we have, this that is a cell within the prison house. The entire prison house may have lot of cells, and there are different types of, there are 8 million types of cells provided by the material world. So it is mentioned in one of the Puranas that Jalaja Nav Lakshani, there are 9 lakh Jalaj aquatics, Sthavara Lakshana Vimsati. So I think it will be more clear here. 8 lakh, 84 lakh species of life, and 9 lakh are aquatics, 2 million are trees and plants, Sthavar, which are non-movable, 1.1 million insects, Kita, and birds, flying, million types of birds, 3 million types of four-legged animals. And then 4 lakh forms of human species of life. We only see one, but there are many others. They are divided based on their consciousness, and we are not just talking about uh, Earth planet. There are other planets also where you can have human-like forms of life. Human-like forms of life, like which have, which are intelligent enough to inquire, right? Which have the potential. Their consciousness might be different. Now, different bodies provide different levels of consciousness, just like different cells in the prison house: A class cell, B class cell, C class cell. So even in the prison house, you'll see that there are different categories or grades of cells that are allocated to depending on their the type of crime that they have committed, right? Somebody might be given facility, lot of facilities even while they're in the jail, and other people are kept in a like a dark room or something. So God, as we mentioned, is like he's the spiritual energy. He's never bound by the material world or within the jail of the material world. He's independent. So that is a different category. But anybody who is within the material world, we are, for the sake of this discussion, we have divided into three categories. One is the devatas. We discussed about devatas. There are like millions of them because there is a lot of administration required, and their residence is higher planetary system like Swargaloka and all heavenly planets, where there is more enjoyment. But they are still in the jail, in the premises of jail. They are kind of, you can say that their body is A class cell. Uh, Human beings, their lifespan is less, 100 years to maybe some of them. In different ages, they have varied lifespans. Now, currently in Kali Yuga, it is roughly limited to 100 years. And they are in the middle planetary system, or it's called Bhuloka. So, this is Swargaloka, this is Bhuloka. And there is some enjoyment and some misery. So it is categorized as B class cell. You are given some facility, but more restriction than the A class cell. And then you can see the animal species or trees and all. Their lifespan could vary a lot, but they are compared to the uh, C class cell because there is less enjoyment or more misery for them. Like the trees have to suffer the heat and cold while they are standing in uh, open in the they cannot even move for that. So, and their consciousness level is also very low. They cannot inquire about the higher truths of life, right? So different types of material bodies, tiny spirit souls move from one type of to another, birth after birth. So depending on how we behave in the jail also, you can keep changing your cells from uh, A class cell to B class cell or B class cell to A class cell, like that. That is the uh, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi, the cycle of birth, old age, disease, and death. So again, the comparison: material world is a prison house, material body is the cell within the prison house. Now, what are in a prison house? When we started this analogy, we said that there is another third thing, which is a way to restrict them within the material world or within the cell. Either it could be ropes, chains, or bars, right? So, what is that facility in this material world that keeps us binded to the material world? What are those chains and ropes? Uh, we'll discuss about those chains and ropes, but before we discuss that those chains and ropes, there is another concept discussed here, which is every jail has a like a jailer, superintendent. Okay, and Durga, we have this Durga Devi, right? What is the meaning of Durga? Ga is to get out. Durg is very difficult. Durg, it's du. becomes very difficult to get out. In fact, not just get out, it is difficult to come in also. That is the real meaning of Durg, or castle, right? Castle was also called Durg. Difficult to get in, difficult to get out. And the jailer for this material world, or the superintendent, is Durga Devi. That's why she called Durga, because she keeps people who are there in this material world illusioned. She's also called Maya, Mahamaya, right? So she keeps people in the material world in illusion through three different facilities, which are three different types of chains, and keeps us bound in the material world. What are those three chains? They are the three modes of nature, जिसको बोलते हैं गुण. जैसे गुण का एक संस्कृत वर्ड गुना, मीनिंग ऑफ दैट इज रोप. तो जो जीव होता है वो भौतिक जगत के अंदर तीन गुणों से प्रभावित होके तीन तरह के रोप्स, दोज आर द थ्री रोप्स विच कीप्स देम बाइंडेड, और बाहर नहीं निकलने देते. व्हाट आर दोज थ्री रोप्स? सत्वगुण, तमोगुण एंड रजोगुण. Sattvam, Rajas, Tama iti. So the mode of goodness, passion and ignorance. The material nature consists of three modes: goodness, passion and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with with nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, he becomes conditioned by these three modes. So एक जीव को यहाँ पे भेजा जाता है, साथ ही साथ उसको इन तीन रस्सियों से बांध दिया जाता है. मीनिंग he get influenced by these three modes. And what are these three modes? Now here there is a definition of mode of goodness. O sinless one, the mode of goodness, being purer than the others, is illuminating and it frees one from sinful reactions. Those situated in that mode becomes conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge. So these are the characteristics of the mode of goodness. It is better than the other two modes, better than mode of passion and ignorance, but still it is a guna. It is a sattva guna, which binds you. So even the goodness can bind you in the material world. You can be a very good person. You can be very peaceful, very kind-hearted, but that is not sufficient. That gives you a platform to transcend it, but that in itself is a guna. You can become very proud by being a good person, and that pride will bind you. So, but being good in itself will give you a sense of happiness and a sense of knowledge that, yeah, you are behaving rightly, you have the right knowledge of what needs to be done, what need not be done. So you can distinguish between good and bad and act accordingly. So you're very controlled in that sense. So that is called the mode of goodness. And the characteristics are people who are in the mode of goodness, they have a tendency to seek knowledge, and they have a tendency to not commit pap or sins. They live a life free from sins, and that therefore they get conditioned by happiness. Conditioned by happiness, what does that mean? Uh, they feel some sense of happiness in the material world and they become conditioned by it. They think that, okay, this happiness is what I was looking for and I want to stay in this world to enjoy this happiness. Next is Rajoguna, the mode of passion which is born out of unlimited desires and longings, O son of Kunti. And because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive actions. So, by the name itself, the mode of passion, they are very passionate to achieve something. And most of the time, you see people in two modes, either in ignorance or in the mode of passion. All this race, when you go to, a train station in Mumbai, local, everybody is running. So, why? Because they are in that mode of passion. They want to do something. when we discussed the Trinity also, right? There was Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, and Brahma is in charge of mode of passion. He needs to create the material world. So he has to be passionate because people in the mode of passion also create a lot of things. They are the best innovators also. But they have lot of desires and longings also. So those desires, to enjoy those result of those desires, that okay, I have this strong desire, I'll work hard for it. Now since I have worked hard for it, I want to enjoy the results of my hard work. That is the uh, mentality of a person in rajoguna. Unlimited desires, fruitive activities, their actions are also motivated by results. Uh, they want some result out of their the action that they do. The third is called tamoguna. O son of Bharat, know that the modes of darkness born out of ignorance is the delusion of all embodied living entities. The result of this mode are madness, indolence, and sleep, which binds the conditioned soul. So, this is the definition of tamogun. Ignorance. He's not at all worried about what is going on. Let whatever is happening, let it happen. He is, uh, and what does it result in? Madness. So you can do whatever you want. There are no restriction. Eat, live, and be merry. Uh, Eat, drink, and be merry. So madness, laziness is one of the characteristics. Ignorance of right and wrong. So they have very poor sense of distinguishing right and wrong. Uh, Laziness is also, because they are not very passionate about achieving something, so they tend to become lazy also. Sleep and intoxication are another other of their characteristics. Because they are lazy, they sleep a lot. Sleep doesn't just mean uh, they don't take, people in mode of goodness and passion also will take rest. But sleep here also means that they want to be in darkness and, you know ignorance. And intoxication is one of their also another characteristics. They intoxicate themselves to forget about any, they don't want to care about right and wrong. So that's why they get intoxicated. In fact, intoxication deprives you of making rational decisions, right? That's why any duty, like for example, a person flying an aeroplane, it is expected that he is not intoxicated, because he cannot make the right judgment. And for a pilot, it becomes very necessary. He might have to take rational decisions in a very short span of time. So an intoxicated person cannot do that. So this is the definition of tamoguna. Any questions or any thoughts? We've covered a lot of topics about the jail, cell, and the three gunas. In Bhagavad Gita, there is a lot of details mentioned about these, how a person act in under this mode of uh, the three gunas. And any activity, it's not that a person who is in tamoguna is fully in tamoguna, or a person who is in rajoguna is fully in rajoguna. A person can be exclusive in one mode. It's never that. It's always a mixture of all these three gunas. Just like, we have the three fundamental colors RGB, and the combination of RGB can result into formation of any color. The color television, now we have those 64,000 or something something whatever. So, but underlying them is the three primary colors. So similarly, these three are those basic gunas, and a different combination of these manifest into different behaviors of the people, in fact, different desires, and eventually different species of life also are covered by these three modes in different degrees. For example, even animals like a cow is said to be more in mode of goodness. A cow is peaceful, it will just chew on grass and do not harm anybody. It's very caring also. Even cows care for human beings also. And a lion is said to be in like a mode of passion, you know. Uh, it wants to take the control of the jungle, king of jungle. So it is said to be in mode of passion. Everywhere, everybody there with me? I'm the only one speaking, so I just wanted to take a little pause.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, yeah, we are listening.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, so all our activities from morning to evening, if we see even the times of the day, they are more conducive for uh, ac- con- doing activities in a particular mode. For example, early morning activities, you see people are more in mode of goodness. So that's why you see people doing all the pujas, artis, and cleanliness activities. They are all morning activities, right? And then as the day progresses, people become more passionate, and activities in the mode of passion becomes more conducive. The environment, the daytime is more conducive for doing those activities. So that's why people go on work. They go, farmers go on the fields. Uh, People who are in their job go to their job. So uh, that time of the day is more conducive for that. And then in the evening they become tired and they want to take some rest. So that time, and it is darkness also. uh, Material nature provides that facility that okay, you can now take some rest and go into the darkness and forget yourself, which is, in fact, if you see, uh, the temples open early in the morning, and what opens in the evenings and night? Bars, clubs, and
Bars
all.
and
You know, all the casino activity. The Vegas is said is also called Sin City, right? The city of sins, and everything. Even in the casinos, there are no windows, so that you cannot see the light. Stay in the darkness. So similarly, any activity that we do, even the charity that we do, can be motivated by either mode of ignorance or passion or goodness. You know, people may want some result out of their charity, so that will be in mode of passion. And people may do charity not knowing anything, just for the sake of it, or uh, not knowing the value of it. It could be in the mode of ignorance also. It could be for genuine good cause, which would be categorized as mode of goodness. So uh, I think Bhagavad Gita chapter 14 and 17, uh, the divine and demonic qualities and the mode of material nature. I think 14, chapter 14 is there. So they talk in detail about anything that we do can be categorized. Even the food that we eat. We were just talking in the beginning of this call about the food. So the food can also be in these three modes, in the mode of ignorance, in the mode of passion, or in the mode of goodness. So food that are in the mode of ignorance are like stale, putrid food. That's why intoxicants come in that category. Food in the mode of passion are more like strong food, like hot, chili, very spicy. They kind of facilitate your or invokes your mode of passion. supports your mode of passion. And then food in the mode of goodness are like fatty, juicy, fresh, so that those kind of food cultivate mode of goodness. Yeah, or next slide talk about the food also. Food dear to the those in mode of goodness increase the duration of life, purify one's existence, giving strength, health, happiness, satisfaction. Such foods are juicy, fatty, wholesome, and pleasing to the heart. Foods that are too bitter, too sour, salty, hot, pungent, dry and burning are dear to those in the mode of passion. Such foods are cause of distress, misery, and disease. So, uh, all these, sizzlers and all people enjoy, uh, and they are very dear to those in the mode of passion. Food that are prepared more than 3 hours before eating, food that is tasteless, decomposed, putrid, consisting of remnants, untouchable things, are in the mode of darkness. Now that we have talked about these three modes, all these three things, even including mode of goodness, are binding. It keeps us in the material world, to attached to this material world. And they can be compared to three different types of chains. It's easy to understand that, iron chain, like mode of ignorance and passion, they can be binding. It's a little difficult to understand that even mode of goodness can be binding. But still, this is the comparison given that, mode of ignorance is like an iron chain. Mode of passion or rajogun, rajat is also called silver, so it matches that name also, silver chain. And mode of goodness is golden chain. All three chains bind us to the material world. So many things that we think that it is good, it would be good, but it might not be transcendentally good. So above these three modes is called something called as Shuddha Sattva. Now that in order to get free from the material world, from the cycle of birth, old age, death, and disease, one has to cultivate or situate himself in Shuddha Sattva. He has to go beyond these three modes. And mode of goodness is a platform which facilitates that. So, a, for a beginner, it is advised that first you try to be in the mode of goodness, and from the mode of goodness, you can take a flight and come in to the mode of pure goodness or Shuddha Sattva. Uh, Generally, like, when we have that ability to distinguish between good and bad, people who are, in general, people are good only, right? They don't have bad intention. And when they say that, okay, this is not the right thing to do, I should not be doing this, or one should not do this, mostly they are right in making a judgment about wrong things. Whatever they think that is wrong is there is 90% chance that it will be wrong only. But you'll find many times they think that, okay, this is the right thing to do, but that will not be right. That will also be wrong. So our ability to judge bad things is more accurate than judging what is overall the good thing. So that's why we think sometimes, we are doing good for others. It's like the example that we were discussing previously also, right? कोई दलदल में फंसा है, ठीक है, तुम उसको कोई तरह का हेल्प कर रहे हो, but that help is helping him be comfortable in that miserable place. That is good, but that is not the ultimate good. You can feed the poor, but if feeding that keeps him inside that daldal, it's not ultimate good. It might be temporary good. So the ultimate good is to bring him out of that daldal. You know, so it becomes a little hard to understand sometimes. Not to encourage that, okay, you become heartless and don't help people. You should help people, but at the same time, you should also know what is ultimate good for us, for ultimate good for them, and through your noble efforts, you also help them understand the purpose of life and try to get him out of the uh, bondage of material world. Many of these, social activities, socialists, and they try to help the world in various different ways. And most of the non-profit organizations, they do a lot of good stuff, which is very good. And in fact, if you see uh, nowadays, like there are so many charities that do so much good work, but there are very few who will do the ultimate good in addition to this, right? Yeah, so even in Microsoft, we see that there is a give campaign during the month of November where they encourage the employees to donate to different charities, and they give a big list of charities that are, that they have shortlisted, that okay, these are approved charities doing good cause. And based on your inclination, interest, somebody might be, oh, wi- somebody might be very connected to the environment, so they can find good causes who are doing good for the environment. They can support them. Or there are many who want to support the animals. There are many who, support the cats and dogs, support dolphins, support the ocean ecosystem, support this, support that, trees, soil, black, white, women, this, that. There are so many, uh, but they do not encourage religious institution unless they are doing one of these other socially, morally good stuff. If they are only talking about spirituality, that is not their criteria to shortlist a charity as a good charity. They have to do something more. So if they are feeding the people, if they are providing housing, or if they are helping them, let's say, get rid of drugs or something, then they might be categorized, okay, you can donate to these charities, they are doing good stuff for the world. But otherwise, they do not categorize them as doing any good to the world. Whereas if you see, if you are able to uh, enlighten any even one person, that okay, what is the ultimate goal of life? You have to live peacefully in this world, but at the same time, your ultimate purpose is to go out of this cycle of birth and death. That will be the real uh, goodness that that is the real help that you can give to somebody. And to offer that help, first we have to ourselves understand that this is not the right place to be in. Once we understand, then only we can, when first we have to help ourselves, and then when we can help others also. So like in when we are in a flight, they say, right, first put your own oxygen mask, and then you can help your co-passenger by uh, helping them put their masks. Again, the analogy taken forward, everything that we discussed. So material world is a prison house, material body is a cell within the prison house, and the chains are the three modes of material nature. All living beings in the material world are conditioned by these three modes. We seek happiness in the material uh, platform according to the modes of we are conditioned by. Even the music that we hear, right? That music can be in one of those three modes. The hard rock music that do not make any sense. They'll keep shouting and shouting. Punk kind of people get drunk and be high on drugs, and then they sing. That is disturbing to the mind. In the long run, you might like it for a few seconds. Oh wow, loud music and all. But eventually, it makes your mind restless. Then there can be songs of in the mode of passion. You know, uh, Bollywood songs, you will find so many examples. Cash मेरी आंखों में, cash मेरी बातों में, this, that, or whatnot. Or all these romantic songs, they are born out of mode of passion. And then there are songs in the mode of goodness, very peaceful, calming songs that will give some solace to your heart. Not very agitating. Something maybe describing the beauty of the material world. Those are in the mode of goodness, gives you happiness. And then we talked about transcendental goodness, Shuddha Sattva, bhajans. They are uplifting, they are melodious, they are good to your overall being, your, gross senses, gross body, your subtle body, the mind, and your self, the real spiritual body. It gives satisfaction to all three of them. And we experienced that in the past week. So we went for that Sadhu Sangha, where we sing and dance for straight for 3 days. Uh, the only breaks we took were for eating prasadam and sleeping a little bit. So those were good to ears, good to mind, and good for the soul. Nourishing for the soul is also. Thus, our pure spiritual nature is perverted by impure desires born out of these three modes. Uh, you know, i- our inherent nature is like pure white light, but it gets covered by these three colored papers and gives a different reflection of who we are. In this way, the soul is forced to take birth in the material world again and again. Uh, Example, a giant wheel, like we go up and down. We'll acquire some good karma by doing goodness, and then again, once our good karma is finished, then we come to the earthly planet. We make decisions, right or wrong. Based on that right or wrong decision, we can go up or down to the lower planets or to higher planets. But again, we'll be moving in the cycle of birth and death only in the material world. Uh, Goodness will lead to higher planets. Passion will keep you on middle planets, earthly planets, and ignorance can take you to lower planets, जिसको हम बोलते हैं स्वर्ग, नरक या धरती. The purpose of life is not to go to higher planets, do good and go to higher planets, but to transcend all these three modes and go to the spiritual world. So this is a brief introduction on the Prakriti part of it. Uh, we did not even begin the karma uh, concept, but this is a necessary prerequisite to understand karma. That because we are doing some activity, we do those activities under the influence of these three modes in the material world in a given circumstance, and on a particular time, also time, place, circumstance. So that governs our karma, that defines the activity that we do, and that is called karma. So we touched base on the third topic of Bhagavad Gita very briefly. The next is time, and this time also we have discussed previously. So it's 8:31 here. Before I think I was initially thinking that we'll start on karma topic, but uh, it will not be a logical end. So I was thinking that okay, let's give a pause here. The time we have already discussed. Uh, we have discussed the sixth transformation that the material body goes through. We have also gone through the cycle of the Yuga cycle and all. We discussed the day of Brahma and all. manvantras that also we discussed previously when we were discussing devatas and all. So, any questions or reflections on the modes of material nature, Prakriti that we discussed?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yes, one thing is like we always think we are doing good, but today's I think session tell like there is much more good we can do, and in terms of like spiritual upliftment rather than just materially benefiting somebody who's struggling with something.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. It's not to say that uh, helping somebody materially is not good,
Yes, yes,
but the point
but
is that it's not the ultimate good. It's like, for example, uh, short-term benefit is also necessary to achieve the long term, right? So whatever is, if you want to achieve a long term goal, but we have to also serve your immediate need. But only serving or having that immediate need as the primary purpose, then we may lose the sight of the long term goodness that we want to achieve, right? So we should not get restricted. We should not restrict ourselves to uh, doing helping people just materially. So if you want to feed people who are hungry, very good thought. You are in goodness, but take it to transcendental goodness. Feed prasadam to them. That will uplift them in the long run. Educate them also about the purpose of life, or how to live in the society nicely and even achieve their eventual goal. So uh, in this way, you can help them short term as well as long term.
yes, Prabhuji, that's true. Yeah.
It's like another analogy given for this material world is a hospital analogy, right? So when a patient is there in the hospital, uh, you can, and every people who is helping them recover in the hospital, they are helping in their different ways, right? So the doctor is there who is actually curing the disease, but there are other support staff also, which is making their stay in the hospital as long as they are in a hospital comfortable. So both are necessary, right? But keeping them hospital in the hospital, giving them comfort in the hospital is not the goal. The goal is that you help him get rid of the disease and go out of the hospital. So the uh, patient should also not think that, okay, oh, this is a comfortable place, let me stay here only. And dukhalayam shashvatam, the miseries that we see in this material world, they are an indication and a good indication that, okay, this is not the place to be in. And once we understand this, even in the devotee circle, we have this. Uh, the sense of humor also becomes transcendental. So when they are facing any misery or any suffering, the thought that come to their mind naturally, oh, this is not the right place to be in. Anyways, I have to go out of this. I have to just somehow manage my time here, then ultimately leave this place. If you see anything unfair happening in this world, like I remember once I was having some discussion with my son Madhav. He was saying, okay, everyone should be given equal opportunity, this that, and it's not fair that these corporates, they'll go to few colleges and not everybody. So it is possible that there are good students in college which are not so popular. So they'll miss out on that and it is not fair for them. And then he himself answered himself, saying that it's not fair, but what do we expect in this material world? We can't expect everything fair to be in this material world, anyways. So miseries are expected, tough times are expected, but we can accept them gracefully once we have this knowledge. You know, this is a place of misery, suffering, and it is an indication for me that this is not the right place for me to be in. And also, the next topic that we'll discuss, the karma, it might be a result of some of my past deed. And when we surrender to the Lord uh, gives us, the right level of misery that we can afford, that will help us rectify our wrongdoings as well as emerge out better as a better person. So if we have that understanding, we'll not be disturbed. Saurabh ji, any comments from your side?
I was just thinking that then, you know, material world, whatever karma we are doing, this is all, karma is also, ecosystem of suffering only. That, can I decipher that?
Could you repeat? I mean, again,
I'm
like.
saying,
Mhm.
I'm saying that, if material world is a place of suffering, and we
Mhm.
are all supposed to do our karma. Now, karma can be anything, whether it is taking care of parents or children, or doing our job, or doing any social activity, or any politics, or whatever.
Mhm.
Whatever we do in the material world is, sort of karma. And if
Mhm.
material world itself is a place of suffering, then what is our purpose? Is our purpose to try and make it less of a suffering? By being conscious about or being cognizant about the ecosystem. Otherwise, why should somebody be in a place of suffering at the first place? You know, uh, I was a bit. I got thinking on this actually a bit.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. So, uh, we we try to touch base upon this point, right? Why do we come to this material world in the first place, right? We are like eternal beings, and then the inherent nature of the attribute of any soul is that he has a free will. Or when we say will, it is free, obviously, then only it makes sense that it has will. Or it is free to desire, it is free to choose, make a choice, right? So the feeling of trying to be a controller is what is mentioned in the shastras, that becomes the root cause of a person coming in the material world. He wants to fulfill his desires in a way in which uh, the acknowledgement for God is not there. So that is the original reason for coming, for a jiva to come in the material world. And once he is in the material world, he's given facility that he can fulfill that desire. But while fulfilling that desire, because of it comes with a consequence of, in order to fulfill that desire, he have to be delusioned, put it into some kind of a maya. So when he's put into that maya, it comes with its own side effects of being bound by these three modes. He has to act in a certain way. He try to fulfill his desires. He can only fulfill his desires only that facility is provided. But then he starts making wrong choices and start building up on his karma. Now, when he start building up on his karma, he can do he can accumulate good karma or bad karma. Good karma will take you to higher planets. Bad karma will take you to lower planets. Uh, and one has to come to this realization that the inherent nature of the soul, Satchidanand, is not cannot be accomplished in this material world. Once a person starts acknowledging that fact or starts to realize that okay, this is and that is the beginning of spiritual life, then he tries to seek the ultimate goal of life. He tries to understand what is the purpose of life. By that time, he has accumulated a lot of karma. He is put into a certain circumstance, and he has to fulfill his duties. So it's like you know uh, it's like I'm just trying to think up of an analogy. Like let's say a soldier is or a spy is sent to a different world, a different country. Let's say some Indian people are sent to Pakistan. I don't know whether it is a good analogy. It might start some debates, but just take it lightly. The point is that I'm trying to make is while that person is in Pakistan, he has to act in a way that he do not disturbs that place also. At the same time, he should know that this is not the place where I belong. My country is India. I have to eventually go back. But while I am here, I have to use the facility here, act in a way, act according to the laws of Pakistan, so that I am not a disturbance here and I can fulfill my purpose. And if we see the real purpose of life, what makes most sense once that person is there, he'll see that okay, there are other Indians who are stuck here and they have started to believe that Pakistan is my country. You have to give them knowledge that okay, this is not the right place. Our laws gives us freedom there. So you educate them. But while you are there, you follow the laws or follow the rules and regulation of that country. So while we are in this material world, we obey the laws or the rules and regulation set forth for this material world. That is called your vyavahar, conditioned duties, your conditional duties. But at the same time, you have to fulfill your constitutional duties as well. So all these goodness, all your duties of taking care of your parents or doing your contributing to the society, they are all your conditional duties because you are conditioned now in this material world. But at the same time, that is not your ultimate goal that you fulfilling those duties and stay here. Your ultimate constitutional duty is to go back also as a soul. So you're fulfilling your bodily duties, your current identity, so that you have to anyways fulfill. But you have to also work towards or make progress towards your eventual or constitutional duty as well.
Got it. Um, yeah. One thing I missed actually, I did not miss. I was at that point of time I did not clarify. There was this point about why miseries are not forthcoming for people who are supposed to be not good. Okay, so I missed some points in that explanation.
That will actually come later when we discuss karma in detail. So
Acha,
this was the
acha,
precursor of that karma that
acha, acha.
yeah,
Okay,
because
okay.
we just raised that question, we did not answer that question yet.
Yeah, maybe that is why I missed out. So because this is one point, let me tell you, whenever we have a discussion about righteousness in corporates, I'm talking about, whenever we have any, even and many a times these discussions is after drinks and all, and
Mhm,
people talk about righteousness. Actually, that is when, to be honest, that is when people speak out their heart over here in corporates. Otherwise, throughout the day they are acting. They are
mhm,
bahurupiyas. Throughout
mhm,
the day, every corporate guy is a bahurupiya. Okay. They are not telling the truth. They are just acting. And I'm being
mhm,
honest about. being the biggest FMCG company of the country, let me be very upfront. So whether whoever it is, whether it is a VP or except the CEO, maybe who is mostly honest in whatever he says because he has to give gyan. But
Mm-hmm.
except the CEO and the leadership team member, mostly everybody is only acting throughout the day.
They are talking what the people want to hear.
No, not exactly. It is, everybody has an agenda.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, everybody has an agenda. Even within the leadership team, everybody has an agenda which may not be complementing to each other. So everybody is pulling some rope here and there. Everybody has an agenda. Okay, now to drive that agenda, they can make a donkey, a horse of a donkey,
Mm-hmm.
or they can pull down a horse to a donkey,
Yeah, yeah.
depending on their need. So today you are a donkey, tomorrow you are a horse.
Mm-hmm.
The other day you are a nothing, like a other day can become an eagle also.
Yeah.
So they will. So I am going to write a book on perception management.
Mm-hmm.
So how perception is important. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Basis perception, a person can move away, whatever. So what I want to drive the point over here is throughout the day they are acting.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is acting. Now, at only very seldom does it happen that they are speaking their heart.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, whenever they happen to speak their heart, and there are can be discussions around varied topics, not only corporate. There can be topics about parents, how many of them actually are billionaires and they don't have time for their parents in Mumbai. Parents, they don't even have time to go to their go to a hospital in Mumbai, and the doctor tells me कि वो पूछता है फोन पे कि कितना दिन रहेगा जिंदा, रखता है कितना पैसा लगेगा, रखने नहीं तो खत्म कर दो, उड़ा दो. This is something which a very top end doctor told me about some of the big corporates, जिसको
Mm-hmm.
6 महीना टाइम नहीं मिला अपने पिताजी को देखने के लिए. ठीक है. एंड there are other people who are basically conspiring throughout the day, throughout their decades. They have done that, and when we discuss, they have only one point. They have lost fear of God. You know why? Because they feel across the ecosystem that following a righteous path has not yielded results. I'm not saying that has happened or not, but they tend to feel that power is the only thing, and fear brings love. Obviously, nowadays this is going around in India. All examples are around this place. Ki love will come out of fear only. And a lot of analogy is being given about that Samudra Devta ka incident with Bhagwan Ram. 3 days he was pleading, he did not answer. The fourth day, he took up his bow and he was in Aukat. And they're giving it an example to Pakistan now. You told about Pakistan. By the way, if somebody goes and makes Pakistan a best place, then there is no better karma yogi than him. Okay. Anyways, Bhagwan Krishna will come and gift him, give a Nobel Prize to him. Anyways. So the thing is, uh, broadly in all discussions, and I'm talking about these are the top leaders of the country,
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be leaders, some of them. Uh, Fear of God, while they will go to they will go to n number of godly places.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, कभी वो तिरुपति में होंगे, कभी वो शिरडी में होंगे. Maybe some of them may be going to ISKCON also. In fact, they are not limited. They go to lot of places. Okay, they go there. I don't know. They go as a pilgrimage or they go as to put their status symbol on Facebook. I don't know what. They will go to a lot of places,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't have any connect with the Almighty. Let me be very clear. And they are
Yeah.
so ruthless. They are so ruthless in their attitude and behavior. They don't care. And
Yeah.
possibly it is because around them they see that the people who are thriving. Look, living is different and thriving is different.
Mm-hmm.
The people who are thriving in this country are the most corrupt people. Okay. And look, it may be they are showcasing or whatever. At least this is what people see. जनमानस जो है ना, लोगों को जो दृष्टिगोचर है, मतलब what is, maybe they are दुखी in their अंतरात्मा. I don't know.
Yeah.
ठीक है.
Yeah.
बट लोगों को जो दिख रहा है, भारतवर्ष के जो लोगों को दिख रहा है, वो ये है कि 10 में से 8 पापी
हाँ,
सुखमय
एंजॉय कर रहे
जीवन
हैं।
व्यतीत कर रहे हैं. So that is
हाँ,
what is being
सी
propagated.
ये कोई नया नहीं है, दिस हैज बीन ऑलवेज द केस. अगर हम महाभारत में या इवन प्रीवियस युगों में देखें तो ऐसा देखने को मिलता था कि हिरण्यकशिपु जैसे लोग जो थे, दे वर रूलिंग द ऑल द थ्री वर्ल्ड्स. ठीक है.
Hmm.
या पांडवास हु वर वेरी राइटियस एंड डिवोटीज, they suffered more than the Kauravas, lot more than the Kauravas. Eventually, like Kauravas were, uh, destroyed, but throughout their life, Kauravas enjoyed actually, right? But
Hmm.
the sufferings that Pandavas had to go through. Now, people who come to these conclusions, right? It is because of their lack of their knowledge, because they are they're looking at a very short span of life. They don't have the right knowledge. They cannot see beyond one lifetime of people's suffering, or their rewards or whatever. And and also, looking at the same things, also people derive different conclusions. So whatever conclusion is helping them align with their thought process, that conclusion they will drive. Okay. And that is because inherently, deep inside their heart, there is some desire which they have to fulfill. So the facility is given by the Lord to them, that okay, if you want to fulfill the desires, uh, you will get a facility where you will strengthen your belief, and with that belief you will be able to fulfill your desires. You will act in a way that to fulfill your desire, but you will fail miserably eventually, until you come to this conclusion that okay, this is not the right place for me to be in. Everybody will come. uh, this has happened in the past, this will happen in the future also. This is sanatan. So lack of knowledge is there. So one example, I think I don't remember if I have shared that example in this session, in this batch, about karma. When we discuss karma, it will be discussed later also, but just to I just want to mention it now that we have brought this point, that how hard is it to understand karma. And Dhritarashtra's story is there, right? Dhritarashtra was born blind. Okay. And he had to see the death of 100 sons, right? It's a it's very painful. And he had this question that why I have to go through this. Now, eh, his karma manifestation of this kind began 50 lifetimes ago. He was a hunter, and he relished, you know, poking the eyes of birds and all whatnot, some nonsense he was doing. And he relished that. And once it happened that he actually burnt or whole, like little birds, hundreds of birds, and poked their eyes of their parents, something like that he did. So, as a result, he had to suffer blindness, and he has to also suffer loss of his sons. But having sons is a great fortune also in the Vedas. So, in order to have sons, he had to acquire some kind of good karma. So, in 50 lifetimes, it took him to acquire enough good karma to have 100 sons. And then eventually in this life, he was born blind, and he had to suffer the pain of death of 100 sons. So, if in that lifetime, in when he is Dhritarashtra, he asked this question, it might be seems very genuine question. Oh, what did you do? But there is a long history that people don't see. So somebody might see that okay, this person, he is enjoying, he is the most corrupt, and he is enjoying. They don't know their past, what had lead to this, and they don't know what eventually this will lead to further. And this is one thing. The also another, this lack of knowledge, we get different notion of success also. The success that we see of the people is, oh, they are having a good time, good material facilities, good material opulence, they are successful. That might not be the way that should not be the way that success is defined. So this is because of lack of our knowledge that, we think that, okay, he is such a corrupt person and he's enjoying or he's successful, because we don't know what real success means, what real smriddhi means. So the term smriddhi is not just wealth, like the wealth in the terms of finances. Smriddhi means wealth of your relation, wealth of your a lot of other things, right? So if somebody is in corporate and then they are not able to get time to even meet to their relatives, they are not smriddhi. They might have a lot of bank balance, but due to lack of knowledge or lack of knowledge, as well as the current uh, culture or training that people get about success, the definition of success itself is convoluted, right? So you have money, and you have the capacity to buy anything and everything, that is considered success. But that's a very wrong definition. In fact, even it is very subtly sometimes, inculcated in through the school text books, as well as through media, through Bollywood. All these false notions uh, goes to the heart of people in general very subtly. You'll see that uh, they will portray that people who are rich are happy. So if you portray that, the people who is receiving that knowledge builds that notion that becoming rich is the criteria for becoming happy. They will not show that a poor person is happy. And if that is not
Hmm.
shown that poor person is happy, people will build that notion of success and will connect it to the richness, financial richness, right? So lot of things happen subtly, which is imparted into the education system, into uh, the entertainment industry or whatever. So it's very convoluted. So we need to have proper knowledge from the right sources, where we can know what is success. Otherwise, see, people will be jealous. Oh, I studied so hard. But this other person, he got into IITs and he got successful. But if he goes into IIT and he has to work like donkeys to earn money, and he's not come to a platform where he can recognize that he is a human being, and which is a very rare birth, and I should be doing bhakti towards the Lord, his whole life is wasted actually, although people might think that he's so successful. So people become jealous of, oh, this is such a great person, he has achieved so many degrees, he has to his name, and he has so many degrees and he's so much wealth, he's successful. If he, in the end of the life, he has not recognized the value of a human form of life, he has wasted all his effort, the hard work that is his was all zero.
Uh, I have a point over here. I want to make a point, and this point is basically a result, an output of my personal experience. Yeah. Can I?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There is, maybe we have 9 o'clock here, but yeah, we can have a short discussion since it is top
So
of the
this is a
mind.
very relevant discussion because this has happened over some certain point of time. Look, I was in my current job for a long time. Yeah, not getting promoted and everything and all. And what happens is that when you are in a particular role for certain time, whether you are giving a lot of time, doing a lot of good and everything, you lose respect among a lot of people. Now, whom you don't lose respect is possibly maybe your siblings, if you're lucky, your parents, and some close friends. But others, maybe including your spouse, may think that you are a loser. Yeah. Now, uh, I was going through certain, while in the industry, people are liking you, your clients are liking you, because they are not aware of your trajectory about your, because clients will know you. Clients will not know about your trajectory within the organization. But people who are aware and who are a victim of your trajectory, who are they? The spouse, maybe some of the colleagues, friends who know कि ये बंदा आगे move नहीं कर रहा है. They will again, as I was talking about the perception issue in corporate, the perception issue creeps in. Now, 4 months back, 4 5 months back, I was so troubled that I had to take mental health medicine. I stopped going to office, and After those medicines, I got my energy back. I gave interviews, and as I stand today, April first week, I had resigned. I'm on notice, and the day I had resigned, until now, in 2 months, I am the center of attraction in the company. Everybody is coming and asking me for being, an opportunity in my new organization. So I've been blunt to announce also. I'm joining this company as general manager. Okay. So people are coming up. My current company has not released me till now, not given acceptance or invitation. They are offering me a director position with a higher salary. There are three more companies who are in lineup. So within 3 months, I could do away with my rot for 17 years, 11 rather years. Yeah, means शराफत से अच्छा काम करते उनको समझ में नहीं आ रहा था. ठीक है. जैसे ही, I proved them that I can get this package. I can be close to a crore. उनको मेरे अंदर संभावना दिखने लगी. मतलब पहले मैं डोंकी था, अभी 3 महीने में घोड़ा बन गया. ऐसा तो नहीं हो सकता है. यू नो इससे ये अभी नो आई एम बीइंग वेरी अपफ्रंट. इवन फॉर माय स्पाउस आई वाज अ लूजर. नाउ आई एम ए रॉक स्टार. क्या? सो मटेरियलिज्म तो घर में भी है, ऑफिस में
बिल्कुल.
भी है, घर में भी है, दुनिया में हर जगह है. माता पिता छोड़कर हर कोई मटेरियल है. प्रॉब्लम नहीं
Yeah.
है. लेकिन मैं जो बोलना चाहता हूं आपको कि जीवन में निरंतर अपने देखिए, या तो मैं एकदम सन्यासी बन जाऊं, मुझे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है कौन क्या बोल रहा है नहीं बोल रहा है. अदरवाइज मैं ये घटना बोला और एक घटना बोलना चाहता हूँ. देयर वर सर्टेन पीपल ट्रबलिंग मी इन माय लास्ट जॉब एंड ऑल. माय ओल्डर बॉस एंड एवरीबॉडी, दे क्रिएटेड अ परसेप्शन. मैंने बुरी तरह बजा दिया उनको विद तथ्यों के साथ. ठीक है. दे गॉट रॉजर्ड एंड आई कंप्लेंट टू द लीडरशिप टीम. ठीक है. नाउ आई डिड नॉट डू इट फॉर 16 years, कभी किसी के अगेंस्ट में नहीं किया. और मुझे एक बात लगा कि अन्याय का बर्दाश्त करना तो अन्याय को बढ़ाना है, क्योंकि ये लोग कल को किसी और पे अन्याय करेगा. एंड जो जो एचआर मैनेजर के अगेंस्ट में मैंने कंप्लेन किया था, उसी को मुझे लेना पड़ा उल्टा. और जो 6 महीने पहले मेरे अगेंस्ट में कंपनी व्यू रखता था, आज वही कंपनी बोल रहा है कि रहो, मेरा रेजिग्नेशन वापस नहीं ले रहा है ये लोग. 2 महीना हो गया है. व्हाट आई एम सेइंग गुरुजी ओवर हियर इज कि आपने कहा ना कि आत्मा, मतलब हमें पता लगना चाहिए कि हम सही करें. और कभी कभी ना लोगों को बताना पड़ता है कि भाई डोंट टेक मी लाइक दिस, मेरे अंदर है कुछ. ठीक है. अदरवाइज मतलब थोड़ा सा हल्ला नहीं करेंगे ना, थोड़ा सा वो लोग समझेंगे नहीं. अभी क्या है, आई एम मैं कैसे 3 महीने में कोई रॉकस्टार हो सकता है?
हाँ, नहीं,
3 महीना
बिल्कुल.
पहले रॉकस्टार नहीं था,
सी
अभी कैसे रॉकस्टार हो गया?
see,
तो
what they also want is, they want to make best they are not your suhrit, right? Like the Lord is the only suhrit जो आपके लिए अच्छा सोचते हैं. ठीक है. उसके अलावा दुनिया पूरी मतलबी है, वो अपना काम निकलवाना चाहती है, राइट?
यस यस.
तो वो अपना काम निकलवाना चाहती है, लेकिन हमको ये समझना है कि ये मटेरियल भौतिक जगत में जब तक हम हैं, हम वी हैव टू समहाउ नेविगेट. ठीक है. समहाउ नेविगेट. अब मान लो फैमिली, इफ फैमिली इज थिंकिंग अस एज अ लूजर, and if by making material progress, if we can earn their trust, and by earning that their trust, eventually we can be a good example and help them transcend that. Okay, see, I am able to do this. I am not a loser materially, but you should understand that material success is not all in all. If it is helping gain that trust, but eventually pull them to the direction that, okay, this is not all in all. Matlab, you can call me now a success or previously as a loser, but one has to understand that these are all temporary navigation that we have to somehow go through. That is not the eventual goal. You have to come to that conclusion. If you are in knowledge, then you can set example. And even Bhagavad Gita, Lord says that we have to behave in this world, material world, also navigate nicely to set examples. Not that is our goal. कि मटेरियल, अगर मान लो सारे के सारे जो स्पिरिचुअलिस्ट हैं वो मटेरियली लूजर होंगे, तो जिनको, हाउ विल दे मोटिवेट पीपल हु आर who wants to be materially good, उनके दिमाग में यही कंसेप्शन और परसेप्शन बनेगा कि being spiritually rich means materially you have to be failure. Eventually that is the truth, but to bring a person to that truth, closer to that truth, one has to understand, okay, you come to this material success, eventually you will get frustrated if that is your goal. जिम कैरी का नाम सुना? जिम कैरी इज अ बिग celebrity and very rich Hollywood star.
Hmm.
He is like one who one will who is materially very inclined for material success. He can be a role model for that. जब उससे पूछा गया तो he said that I don't want to anyone to uh, think that I'm successful and I don't want to become a material role model for anybody because this is such a frustrating life. I don't want to be Jim Carrey at all. मतलब उसका ऐसा वर्ड्स है. Similarly, like there are so many people who have reached zenith of success materially and eventually they get frustrated terribly. जितना ऊपर जाओगे उतना ही ज्यादा नीचे गिरोगे, उतना ही पेनफुल होगा वो. ये बात समझ नहीं आती है लोगों को. वो सो दिस नोशन पीपल मेक व्हाट इज who is successful, who is failure. A transcendentalist or a spiritualist has to get out of that. जैसे जब कोई स्पिरिचुअल प्रोग्रेस जब करना शुरू करता है ना अपने स्पिरिचुअल जर्नी में, वन थिंग दे एवरीबडी एनकाउंटर्स, इट्स अ कॉमन, द मटीरियलिस्टिक पीपल विल स्टार्ट सेइंग कि ये तो पागल हो गया. और a spiritualist can understand who is actually mad because मटीरियलिस्ट पर्सन का कोई बेस नहीं है ये इवेल्युएट करने का कि हु इज सक्सेस एंड हु इज फेलियर. लेकिन अ स्पिरिचुअलिस्ट हैज अ बेस ऑफ वेदास बेस्ड ऑन विच यू इवेल्युएट व्हाट इज राइट व्हाट इज रॉन्ग. बेसलेस कॉन्वर्सेशन के ऊपर तुम क्या किसी को जज करोगे? तुम्हारा क्या बेस, व्हाट व्हाट ऑन व्हाट पैरामीटर्स और व्हाट ग्राउंड्स यू आर इवेल्युएटिंग समबडीज सक्सेस और फेलियर? इतना ही नॉलेज नहीं है तो फिर उनकी आईज में सक्सेसफुल होके the only good thing that can come out of it is you can earn their trust to bring them closer to the Lord. Other than that, there is no other benefit that can come out of that kind of a success.
I completely agree on to this. I completely agree on to this that, I had been content. So, for example, today I'm joining as a GM somewhere. I'm happy. Earlier also I was happy doing my job. It's
Yeah,
just that the other people have got happier.
yeah, yeah,
I am the same. I'm
yeah.
the same because I'm continuing my job. But that possibly means that my wavelength, my thought process has evolved over the years. Having for whatever reasons, everybody, it may not have evolved. Maybe their thought process is a bit different. That their outlook about life is different. Yeah, and that is okay. Uh, yeah. Yes, hmm. but one thing I have, one very very important thing which I want to discuss is that all good people जिन्होंने त्याग किया है, या
Mhm.
they except maybe one person, maybe Swami Vivekananda को अगर हम छोड़ देते हैं तो, who had been always very normal to begin with. So starting from politics, like a Mahatma Gandhi, who was a sort of a big barrister and he became a sadhu, to basically all big preachers today, they were all big in very very, they had gone to the highest amount of, highest level of the trajectory in their corporate life. Yeah, even in ISKCON we see, and in other places as well. तो क्या होता है कि when such people, okay, talk about spirituality, people think, people repose faith on them कि भाई ये तो IITN है, ये इतना बड़ा आदमी है, ये CEO था, ये था, वो था. Don't you think, to be honest, unless they would have achieved that amount of material success, जनमानस उस पे उतना भरोसा नहीं करते, उन पे कोई नॉर्मल आदमी उठ के जाता तो. आपका क्या विचार है?
ये दिस इज द अनफॉर्चुनेट सिचुएशन, राइट? दिस इज ट्रू बट दिस इज अनफॉर्चुनेट, राइट? कि अगर मान लो कोई मटेरियली बहुत सक्सेसफुल नहीं है एंड स्टिल ही इफ इज टॉकिंग द right message, if he's uh, giving the right message from Bhagavad Gita and from our Shastras, that message should hold the same value. But if somebody materially successful person gives the same message, then people are more वही मैं बोल रहा था कि the only benefit that they get is they get to connect to those people कि अच्छा I have seen this but this is not what we are aiming for, what this is not the goal of life. तो उसको सुनेंगे लोग because they can relate to him. But eventually when they progress on the path of spirituality they will have equal respect for all of them. ये उनका क्या बोलते हैं इमेच्योरिटी की वजह से ऐसा होता है. तो दिस इज एन अनफॉर्चुनेट सिचुएशन. तो उसकी वजह से ऐसा हम बोलते भी हैं कि ड्यूरिंग आवर प्रीचिंग ऑल्सो we emphasize that okay, people who are materially successful, if we are able to somehow approach them and connect with them, they will be able to influence a lot more people than who is materially not that successful. उनका मैसेज
So
जो है
for
वो थोड़ा सा लाउडर जाएगा. तो
for the other people who are like Sant, like they had to tread a very long and arduous path. So like Modi ji or Swami Vivekananda, they had to tread a long path to become dependable today, so that people can listen. But material people पहले दिन से ही बोलेंगे तो लोग सुनेंगे.
yeah.
That's my view. मुझे ये लगा, मतलब normally होता है.
Yeah.
That is true and unfortunate, as Prabhuji said. Yeah.
True and unfortunate as well. Yeah, that is true and unfortunate. But if you see, like, I mean, when you connect with more and more advanced people who have made some progress on their spiritual journey, you will see that they become very sober. As it's a long journey, people will mature over time, and then even even materially successful people also, they also have different levels of maturity. जैसे अगर मान लो कोई एक बहुत ही मटेरियली एडवांस सक्सेसफुल पर्सन भी हो जाता है, ही बिकम सोबर ऑल्सो इन द राइट सेंस. कई कई पैशनेट होते हैं, कई इलॉन मस्क टाइप के हो जाते हैं, लेकिन कई एक दो और सीईओज हैं जो हु आर वेरी नाइस पीपल, कि अगर वो किसी का उनसे उनके जो अंडर जो लोग हैं उनका अगर मान लो कोई कॉन्फ्लिक्ट रेजोल्यूशन करना है तो दे हैंडल इट वेरी मेच्योरली. So it's a long journey. People will get different kinds of realization. Yeah,
Jokes,
and
yeah, jokes apart, I think Mr. Trump also needs a session. Asking Shanti.
yeah, the
Any-
qualification of receiving a session is that one should be open to hear. Unless one is open to hear, the only thing you can give him is the food that we talked about in the beginning, right? Prasadam.
Yeah,
You give them prasadam and they can appreciate. If they are able to appreciate, then their consciousness will be purified or become ready to hear the message.
don't want to be political, but let me tell you, in my this memory which I could remember, because I follow politics in India since 1990 2000. Nowhere did the US president had this low amount of ratings, or that forget ratings, no respect as such.
Yeah.
So tomorrow people relating him to a Lalu Yadav and all, that means very hilarious
Correct.
in that aspect.
Crazy person.
Yeah, good, fine. Uh, yeah, a lot of these things now. I'll be on again. I'll add on the humorous part. You spoke about Dhritarashtra. You spoke about all those characters.
Mhm.
Now we have names in our corporates by this. ये धृतराष्ट्र है, ये उसका कृष्ण है, उनका अर्जुन है. And by the way, we also have एकलव्यस, जिनको उंगली काटा जाता है. So वो भी बहुत बड़ा डिस्कशन है. मे भी किसी और दिन करेंगे कि was it
Yeah.
right to cut एकलव्यस उंगली.
Yeah.
So that's a different discussion also. But we see all these things happening around us. That's the fact.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, let's pray for all of them, and let's pray for ourselves also that we are able to understand this knowledge in the right mood, right essence, and uh, you know help ourselves achieve the goal of human form of life and help others also in any capacity if we can do. That is our prayer. And with that message, I think we'll conclude today's session, and uh, we'll continue on the concept of karma, the different kinds of karma, and how to get out of the cycle of karma. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Subha.